This video guide is for the Culling playing an archer type of a character and has in particular as a sub-name NC Spy in honor to Neocon 2 Spy playstyles. I will explain which perks to take, I will explain how to play this archer and what his strengths and weaknesses are. I highly recommend this playstyle as I currently winning a lot of the Culling rounds and enjoy it very much. I think it's a very effective build. Like with every build, there are pros and cons. Pros are that you're highly mobile, you use Stimpacks a lot and therefore are quite more buffed than the others. You can loot very easily and very fast. You are a ranged character, therefore you're applying damage from a distance, giving you an advantage over melee combats. But the cons are that you are rather squishy, you don't have any defensive perks. And once a melee enemy is onto you and you can't shake him off by blocking one of his attacks and staggering him, you will have a hard time of getting away. There are a lot of interesting perks in the Culling, however for this playstyle I think there are not so many choices to play an archer effectively. I chose Backpacker, Stealthy and Chemist. Backpacker, you will need to be more efficient in farming, picking up drugs, picking up items and caching those items in order to buy early on an airdrop, which you kind of need because it will give you guaranteed access to those Stimpacks, stamina and movement speed. And without Backpacker you are kind of like really handicapping yourself. Don't forget that the Culling is a survival game. Even if it's a battle royale game, it's still a survival game, so your inventory space is one of the main resources you have to deal with. And having Backpacker from the beginning gives you quite a good advantage because you just move freely in what you're picking up, how much time you need to waste to cache those items in, and in general it's so much more convenient to use it. Now Stealthy is really important for us because we don't want to draw much attention. We want to set up ganks as easy as possible, and especially having the jump on someone who is currently looting, not aware that somebody is approaching, is such a beautiful advantage. So we don't want to get rid of it, and running away from someone else with stealth makes things easier as well. Now I mentioned it already, Stimpacks are really powerful in this game, and if you consider the difference between 2 minutes and 6 minutes in a 24 minutes game, that is huge, that is a huge advantage. Together with Backpacker you are really free of taking nearly everything. You can pop those Stimpacks if you still run out of inventory space, but in general they will hold so long that you don't really need to think when to take them. You can just pop them as soon as you find, continue looting and then engaging enemies whenever you want. Endurance, having a lot of endurance and movement speeds allows you very early on to kite enemies as you wish. You can use jump shots. Jump shots mean you jump up, turn around 180 degrees behind you, shoot and then turn fast around again to continue running. And if you don't have endurance problems anymore, you can do this all day long, and you can run around all day long and nobody will be able to catch up onto you. For that reason, for this particular reason, Chemist is the way to go. Strongest perk for this class, a very strong perk in general for a lot of classes, but especially with the archer type, as you will have guaranteed access to drugs and Stimpacks. The general playstyle of NC Spy or this kind of archer type is that when you start off you should build first a spear and caltrops. The reason behind this, why I don't rush for bow, is that melee weapon in the very early engagements is just so much more effective. Without a melee weapon you're really handicapping yourself, and every character should always have a melee weapon. So I'm going with a spear first, the caltrop second. You can build both with your starting credits. And then I'm moving out, farming the area, and in the moment I'm finding any kind of good melee weapon which I want to use, I upgrade the spear immediately to a bow, so I have melee and range weapon already, and the caltrops, as soon as I have the credits as well, I upgrade to the blow thing. And the beauty with this thing, you're already really prepared for all kinds of engagement, you're not handicapping yourself, and you still have 2 inventory slots free to use on whatever you find, on traps, on medication to heal you up again, on bandages, on additional stimpacks. Basically whatever you want to have, you can still fit in, and this is another argument for having backpacker from the get-go, and as a perks to have the backpack from the get-go. From now on, you're on the hunt against other players, and of course finishing your airdrop, get it as soon as possible. And the most important aspect in this part of the game, or at this stage of the game, is to find more stimpacks to power you up. Remember, 6 minutes is really a long time. You can do a lot with this, and the aim in general is to get into the last end game, where you can face others in the middle of the map and hopefully go for a win like I did in this video. Most importantly, playing in the Culling and in any survival game, always remember that the most important aspect, the goal, is for you to survive. It is not to have lots of kills, although I like to go for a lot of kills as well, but the main aspect is survive. So if you're uncertain if you're gonna win, fight, run, block his melee attack. If he gets into melee in your combat, turn around and just run as fast as you can. With those stimpacks you won't have any problems getting away, as long as you dodge, as long as you be careful about him throwing his weapon after you to just finish you off. He won't be able to compete with your endurance and your speed, so don't worry about that. Live to fight another day, basically. Live to